Have you ever felt like there's more to life than what meets the eye? Like the world as we know it might be hiding something profound? Well, today we're diving deep into a concept that might just change the way you see everything. The Demiurge, the false god who created the world. This idea comes from an ancient spiritual path called Gnosticism, which challenges everything we think we know about creation, God, and our place in the universe. Are you ready for a journey that could rewrite your understanding of reality? Imagine a world where the God we worship isn't actually God. It sounds crazy, right? But what if I told you that this idea has been around for centuries? Welcome to the world of Gnosticism. It's an ancient spiritual tradition that shook the foundations of religious thought in the first centuries of the Common Era. At its core, Gnosticism teaches that the world we inhabit wasn't created by the one true God, but by a lesser being, a false god known as the Demiurge. Think of the Demiurge as a kind of cosmic craftsman or maker, someone who creates and shapes the world according to his own limited understanding. But here's the catch. The Demiurge isn't all-knowing, isn't wise, and most importantly, he isn't the one true God. Instead, he's a flawed being who makes mistakes, who is driven by ignorance rather than wisdom. But why would a group of people believe in a false god? Well, the Gnostics saw the world as a place of suffering and imperfection. They believed that if the true God had created the world, it wouldn't be filled with pain, injustice, and death. So they concluded that there had to be some other force at play, a force that wasn't all-knowing, a force that made mistakes. Enter the Demiurge. You might be wondering, who is the one true God in this story? Well, the Gnostics believed that the one true God was a being of pure light and love, a being so perfect that he had no form or shape. This God didn't create the world through acts of will or through any effort at all. Instead, he simply emanated from a realm of perfect light and love. It was as if the very essence of this God poured forth from him naturally and effortlessly, like light from a lamp or warmth from the sun. But the story doesn't end there. In fact, it's just beginning. In Gnostic thought, the one true God was surrounded by a group of beings known as the Eons. The Eons were perfect reflections of the one true God, beings of pure light and love, each representing a different aspect of the divine. Together, the one true God and the Eons lived in a realm of perfect peace and harmony known as the Pleroma. What happened to bring the Demiurge into the picture? Well, according to Gnostic beliefs, one of the Eons named Sophia became curious about the world beyond the Pleroma. She wanted to understand what lay outside of perfect light and love, but Sophia wasn't supposed to do this on her own. She was supposed to do it with the guidance and help of the other Eons, but in a moment of weakness, she tried to do it alone. You see, Sophia was a representation of wisdom, but in her moment of curiosity, she forgot to use her wisdom to do it. She acted on her own, and in doing so, she created a being of darkness. This being was the Demiurge, and he was born of Sophia's ignorance, her failure to use the wisdom that was her very essence. In a panic, Sophia hid the Demiurge away, hoping that no one would ever find him. But the Demiurge was a crafty being. He was able to fool the other Eons into thinking that he was one of them. And so the Demiurge infiltrated the Pleroma, living among the Eons and learning their ways. But the Demiurge's time in the Pleroma wasn't a wasted one. He learned a lot about creation, about how to shape and mold the world. And when he left the Pleroma to create his own realm, he put all this knowledge to use. He created the world we live in, a world of darkness and ignorance, a world that was the opposite of the Pleroma. But the Demiurge wasn't done yet. He wanted to make sure that his world was truly his, that it wasn't just a copy of the Pleroma. So he created the Archons. The Archons were lesser beings. Like the Demiurge, they were ignorant and flawed, and they ruled over the Demiurge's world with an iron fist. They kept the people in darkness. They prevented them from seeking the truth. And they punished anyone who dared to question the Demiurge's authority. And then there's us. According to Gnosticism, we are sparks of the one true God trapped in the Demiurge's world. We are like prisoners in a dark and dank cell, and the Demiurge and his Archons are our jailers. Our job, if we choose to accept it, is to escape this cell, to break free from the Demiurge's world, and return to the light of the Pleroma. It's a tall order, but Gnosticism offers a path that leads through self-discovery, enlightenment, and the recognition that we are all connected to the one true God. Now, You might be wondering how Gnosticism fits into the bigger picture of world religions. Well, it's complicated. Gnosticism never really became a formal religion like Christianity or Islam. Instead, it was more of a spiritual movement, a collection of ideas and beliefs that were shared among small groups of people. In fact, many of the Gnostic texts that we have today were written in secret, hidden from the prying eyes of the Demiurge and his Archons. Despite its secretive nature, Gnosticism spread like wildfire, reaching all corners of the ancient world. Its teachings resonated with people from all walks of life, people who were searching for something more, something deeper than what the organized religions of the time could offer. But this popularity didn't last forever. As the Roman Empire grew in power, it began to crack down on Gnosticism and other non-traditional religions. The Gnostics were seen as a threat to the status quo, and so they were persecuted and often put to death. Many Gnostic texts were destroyed, and the movement eventually faded from view. But that doesn't mean it disappeared completely. Elements of Gnosticism can be found in many of the world's major religions, and its influence can be seen in the works of some of history's greatest thinkers. As for the Demiurge, he continues to live on in our collective unconscious. He represents the darkness that exists within us all, the ignorance that can lead us astray, and the false gods that we create in our own minds. But the Gnostics had a message of hope. They believed that we could overcome the Demiurge, that we could break free from his world and return to the light of the Pleroma. All it took was a little knowledge, a little gnosis. If you've made it this far, you're probably wondering how all this relates to us today. Gnosticism has a lot to teach us about ourselves and the world we live in. First, it reminds us that the world is not what it seems. There is more to reality than meets the eye, and it's up to us to seek out the truth. Second, Gnosticism shows us the importance of self-discovery. We must explore our inner selves, our thoughts, emotions, and beliefs to understand who we truly are. By doing so, we can break free from the chains that bind us and live a life of freedom and enlightenment. Finally, Gnosticism teaches us that we are not alone in this journey. There is a community of like-minded individuals out there who are also seeking the truth. By connecting with them, we can support each other on our path to enlightenment, and together we can overcome the Demiurge and his Archons. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the world of Gnosticism. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. If you'd like to continue exploring this topic, check out the resources in the description below.